I do really support people having thoughts about like religious or spiritual thoughts or beliefs about different things, and things they believe in, things that are right and wrong and good and bad and moral and immoral and sinful and not sinful, whatever. I'm completely fine with that. I don't. This term, you've heard this term, right? Hate the sin, love the sinner. Whatever.
Yeah.
People say that. I just think that most people can't do that. Listen, my daughter was getting married. I'm like, oh yeah, all right. She's marrying outside the church. I'm like, yeah. He said, I can't go to the wedding. I can't go. She's outside the church. It's like, I can't give my daughter away, right? Walk her down the aisle and give her away. He said, what do you think?
I think it's important to have those conversations with people that don't believe what you believe in.
Totally.
While not sacrificing or compromising what you believe in, just so you can fit in to society's standards.
No, totally. Can you go back to what you said to me after class on
just the initial question?
Yeah, the question, yeah.
Yeah, so I just asked you basically what if we had someone or people of different faith backgrounds, whether it be Muslim or Christian or even Jew, come up and talk about why maybe they may not be completely for, or they may not be in full support of LGBTQ.
And
but that doesn't necessarily mean that they don't have any they have any disdain for these people. It just means that they might not support the root of it.
The root of it, yeah.
Right.
Sometimes people would say lifestyle, but it's not.
That's a better word.
Yeah, but that's not a good word actually, because I will just say, because there's nothing that queer people do that's different in terms of lifestyle. People say that, but I don't know what the lifestyle is. That's any different, right? But it's a good question. It's the question that G was raising, and I didn't, a lot of times in this class, I just kind of go in different directions, and I don't entertain all sorts of questions that I really want to entertain. So it's a fair question, right? Well, how do you think I'm going to respond to it? Or what do you think I think about that?
You would probably say that everyone is entitled to their own opinion, I would guess, and that doesn't mean you have to hate someone because of your own opinion. It just means that you can have what we're doing now, which is some type of discourse about what you may believe in, what I may believe.
Yeah. I do really support people having thoughts about religious or spiritual thoughts or beliefs about different things, and things they believe in, things that are right and wrong and good and bad and moral and immoral and sinful and not sinful, whatever. I'm completely fine with that. I don't. The problem is what I've seen in my short lifetime, right? Is that this term, you've heard this term, right? Hate the sin, love the sinner, whatever. Yeah. People say that. I just think that most people can't do that. I've only met a handful of people in my entire life who don't selectively pick certain things out and stand behind them. And this is not a judgment of people who are Muslim or Christian or Buddhist or Jewish or whatever. So I'm going to give you a story, right? Maybe 15 years ago or so, there was a guy walking past our house, and he was a Jehovah's Witness. And my wife knew it. My wife saw him walking by, but he didn't stop at our house. Jehovah's Witness, he didn't stop at our house. He didn't knock on our door. And my wife opens the window. She's like, "Yo, you gonna stop here?" And this was the first time in the history of Jehovah's Witnesses that anybody ever did that to a Jehovah's Witness, because usually you slam the door, you walk away or whatever, right? And so he comes to the house. He's like, "Yeah, right." So he comes to the house. So they have a conversation. He comes back. We have a conversation. We get to know this guy, right? Both of us were raised as Christians, but we're absolutely not Christian. Faith-wise, I can pray in a Christian church. I pray to Jesus. I can pray, but I'm not a Christian, But we became friends with this guy, right? And ultimately, he's so good. He's so awesome at listening and so strong in his faith, man. This dude was so strong. I've never met anybody so intense, and didn't in any way pick any one thing out over something else, right? And then we eventually, we'd have dinners together, and he'd start bringing his family would come, his wife and his daughter, and we'd just talk. And every time he came over, at the end of talking, he would pray. We would pray. We'd hold hands and we would pray, and he'd pray to God and Christ, and it was lovely to have somebody pray with you. You know what I mean? It was just beautiful, right? But we're not Christians, and he knows that. And he's not even, at some point, he's not even trying to convert us anymore because we're just friends. But he's always going to pray because that's who he is. He's like the most amazing person. So he's got this daughter. She goes on to get married, okay? But she marries outside the church, the Jehovah's Witness church, right? And, like when your child gets of a certain age, when you're a Jehovah, do you know anything about Jehovah's Witnesses?
Not really, no.
Okay, so when your child gets of a certain age, they're no longer your child. They're brother, you call each other brother, sister. Like you are brothers and sisters in Christ. It's really cool, actually. And the child thing goes away because it's all about your relationship with God, right? So, Jehovah's Witnesses, if you're really in it, like this dude's really in it. So some of you probably have family or are Jehovah's Witnesses. Maybe you are in it, but I'm just going by the people that I'm like, whoa, you have gone to a new level, right? So his daughter is getting married outside the church. And one day, I come home, and he's there at my house for whatever it was. We met, he just came over to see me. And he's asking me, so he's like, I got to talk to you. Listen, my, daughter was getting married. I'm like, oh, yeah, all right. She's marrying outside the church. I'm like, yeah. He said, I can't go to the wedding. Like, I can't go. She's outside the church. It's like, I can't give my daughter away, right? Walk her down the aisle and give her away. He said, what do you think? Right? What do you think I said to him?
Why does it matter?
No. Wait, do you think I do? So think about, like, this is his only daughter, man. And she's getting married. He's not going to walk her down the aisle. He's not going to go to the wedding. He's saying that. And he's asking me what I think, whether he should do that or should he go to the wedding. What do you think I said to him? Given everything you know of me, like just imagining who I am and what I am.
Yeah. Maybe to follow what your heart says.
Yeah. And what do you think his heart said?
Probably not to go to the wedding.
Yeah. That's what I said. I said, you can't go to the wedding. Dude, this is bigger than you. This is about you and God. This is about her and God. This isn't about, this is different. And this guy's holy, man. This guy's holy. I'm like, you're a holy man. You're at a different level. And follow your faith. If you have all these beliefs and then the moment comes and you throw your belief aside, it's like, you can't do that. Like, man, you got to go all the way to the end. So when I see hate the sin and love the sinner, like, my friend wouldn't say hate the sin and love. First off, he wouldn't use hate. He would meet people in the queer community, and he would just be like right there with them, and he just lived by example, and like, yeah, well, you know, whatever. But he'd never judge, never ever tell them, you're going to hell, you're this, that. He's not like that. But he has his beliefs. And I don't trust because I've seen what it really takes to do that with other human beings. I see how much work it takes. When people tell me that, well, my faith tells me I can't support homosexuality, and I'm just like, come on, man. Your faith tells you a lot of things, and you're not following all those other things. So why are you picking this one out? Now, my buddy, he doesn't. That's not him. Like, he's like, boom, 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 boom. It doesn's even go to his daughter's wedding, man. Walk her down the aisle, dude. Like, I was crying. I'm like, God, this is the first time I prayed with him. I prayed in a long time. I'm like, God, what is this, man? What do you think of this story, man?
I think it's an interesting story, and the advice that you gave to him, I don't think is particularly wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if your faith tells you, which the Christian faith does, to my knowledge, that you're supposed to be equally yoked to someone,
mm-hmm.
then in order to not be one of those people that pick and choose what benefits them and what doesn't,
mm-hmm.
then you need to follow it to the fullest extent that you can and
mm-hmm.
marry within your faith.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I guess, going into deeper into that, I think it's easier once you marry someone that's within your same faith because you have the same ideas, you have the same goals in mind, you're following the same creator. So at the end of the day, I think it just allows you to avoid any complication that may come later down in line that aren't foreseeable up front. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that. It doesn't mean, regardless, we're going to follow the same creator, right? There's only one creator, but we follow that creator in different ways. And it really helps to be on the same page as your partner, because this person you're living with, right? And I don't know, I think the Jehovah's Witness idea that your child becomes your equal at a certain age, to me, because we're just spirit, like you're a spirit, you don't exist here, you're just a body. You're a spirit inside of this body. I'm a spirit inside of this body. We get caught up in the bodies. But in the end, we're both children of the Creator. Or we're something of the Creator, right? So I think that's a really cool thing. This, like, you become a brother or sister to your child at a certain age. Now, mind you, I think a lot of things are cool, right? This is just happens to be a thing that I just randomly think is cool, So, like, yeah. But I think it's also cool to have a child and have your child be your child, everything is cool. So just, you do it, right? I don't know. So anyway, when I hear that kind of thing, I don't trust. I've learned over the years, I'm not really sure that I don't want to. I don't judge people. Can't judge people. Like I do sometimes, but I don't like to. But it's not like pointing out, you're a hypocrite. I don't do that. But I just don't trust that. I think people quickly grab onto things. It's like maybe, yeah. And there's a lot of hate. But there's a lot of people who aren't hating, man. It's like, no, I can't support homosexuality or bisexuality or whatever. I'm not hating. I just can't go there. It's like, all right, that's cool. That's all right, man. I got that. That's cool. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and I agree. I just think it's unfortunate that people who do claim to be of faith backgrounds impose a lot of hate on people that aren't.
Yeah.
Rather than having, and rather than witnessing to those people what you believe to be right.
Yeah.
In a more maybe respectful way.
Yeah. No, I got you. Yep, and look inside themselves at the things, because there's a huge church community in all religions of people who are gay and lesbian and bi and so on, right? So it's like, people find it. We'll let God figure it out, She'll work it out, man.
I'll say one more thing about that too.
Yeah.
Kind of to what your point was earlier about how you should always follow what you believe in without having exceptions. I think it's important to have those conversations with people that don't believe what you believe in.
Totally.
While not sacrificing or compromising what you believe in just so you can fit in to society's standards.
No, totally. And this is like why Jehovah's Witnesses go around and knock on doors. Like, you know how cool it is that someone comes to your house and says, I'm going to come and I'm going to share my faith with you. What are you doing? Do you got 10 minutes or you got an hour? How much time you got? I'm like, how awesome is that? Like, open the door, man, let them in. Be like, yeah, come on, man, let's bring it on. Let's talk. This is about life and death. You know, people are like, oh, I don't talk about my religion. And then slam the door. I'm like, come on, man. Come on, seriously? People say, like, I don't want people witnessing to me. I'm like, dude, if you feel like you have the truth, share it with me, man, because I want to know. You know what I mean? There's nothing worse than people who feel like they have the truth and they hold it together privately, and then they're looking around at everybody else thinking like all these other people are going to hell. Ah, you suckers, you're all going to hell. But I'm not, because I have the truth. I'm like, what kind of are you, man? Like, share it. You know what I mean? If you think you are, like, you have an obligation. Like, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, dude, it's good. Any final thoughts?
No, I really like your last point. Like, if you have the truth and you're holding that to yourself, then not only are you doing yourself a disservice, but you're doing the people around you a disservice, the God that you serve a disservice, because you're not sharing what you believe to be as the truth. Yeah, that's right. And it doesn't mean you have to point fingers and condemn people, but it means like, hey, just have a conversation. Have you ever thought of this, that? I have that. Yeah, I love that. You know, I'm always open for. I had these. There's some Mormons that came through, and I invited them in, and we had a conversation, and they were new. They were missionaries, you know. But they were new because they change every year. So, and so we sat down. I made some tea, and I'm like, so give me your thing. Like, what's up? But they weren't really good at it. So I'm like, listen, man. I don't want to be arrogant here, but let me help you out. So I got my Mormon Bible that I have, because, you know, I got one for everything. And I said, let me walk you through. This is what let me tell you some things about Mormonism that would be really good for you to talk about with people like me. You know, I'm a teacher, so this is what I do. So then we had this awesome, cool conversation, and it was great. And then in the end, they weren't very skilled. So they were like, well, so what do you think? Are you interested? I'm like, nah, dude, I'm not interested at all. But I want to help you be better at what you do so you can bring other people into the fold, you know? But I'm not. You didn't convince me, and I didn't convince myself, so it's all good. Just be loving. Right? It sounds like I like your energy, and I like what you're saying, and it's about be loving. Thank you.
Yeah.